Hey, what is going on, guys? In this video today, we're going to be going over the biggest needs for console/controller Fortnite. As you guys are hopefully aware of, Chapter 2 Season 2 is right around the corner. I believe I'm going to be uploading this on the 17th, and the new season starts on the 20th, so only 3 days away to be exact. And since Season 1 of Chapter 2 ended up being about double the length of a regular season, a lot of people are expecting Season 2 to be full of meaningful changes that'll hopefully make the game better. That may be a little bit optimistic, but we can definitely hope that ends up being true. So the point of this video is to talk about the most important things that Fortnite could implement to improve the experience for console/controller players. And without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so the first thing on this list is something that a large percentage of players find annoying, but should be very simple to fix. Making sure that the advanced sensitivity and settings have all the same options that legacy sensitivity and settings have. And when I say that, I'm mainly referring to two things specifically. First off is the option to set a separate value for scope sensitivity. One of the biggest positives of the advanced settings is the option to customize your sensitivity so much more than what's possible on Legacy. However, despite all that, if you play on the new settings, you aren't able to use a custom scope sensitivity at all. So when you use any kind of a weapon with a scope on it, like a sniper for example, the speed at which you move around will just be your regular ADS sensitivity, and for a lot of people, that's a pretty major annoyance. The other option that the Legacy settings have, which Advanced doesn't, is Edit Mode Aim Assist. Now for some players, that isn't a big deal at all, because if you didn't use it when everybody was forced to play on Legacy, you're obviously not going to care that you can't use it when you switch to Advanced. However, there are some players that have gotten so used to Edit Mode Aim Assist and like it so much that they won't switch to the new settings specifically because of that. At the end of the day, Edit Mode Aim Assist is just a helpful little setting that I think makes editing slightly easier, so I don't see any reason to not allow players on the new sensitivity and settings to use it. Next up is a super annoying aspect of playing on controller that I think would be another super easy fix. Give us the ability to use custom binds to change the button that picks up downed players. At the beginning of Chapter 2, Fortnite added the fun little option to pick up and carry down teammates or enemies. It's honestly a really cool feature that's probably mostly used jokingly, but also has practical uses as well, such as carrying down teammates out of the storm or away from a chaotic fight. However, for some reason, Fortnite decided that Y/triangle would be the default button to use this pickup feature. And even more frustrating is the fact that you can't change it. The majority of controller players use the Y/triangle button primarily to pull out their pickaxe. So there are times where you'll go to pull out your pickaxe either to finish off the enemy or break out of a box for example, and instead the game will pick the enemy up, so if you get pushed, it's basically game over. However, it's even worse for claw players because for a lot of them, Y is a very common bind for pulling out your building menu. So they'll down an enemy out in the open, press Y with the intention of building a box around them to safely get the finish, and instead they'll pick up the player and probably get lasered by one of his teammates since now you can't build. So please, Fortnite, it's literally as simple as giving us the option to bind that action to whatever button we want. Next up on our list is something that console players have been asking for since probably the last 2 years or so, the ability to turn off shadows. So in theory, being able to turn off shadows on console could have two potential benefits. The first is the theory that it would increase the consistency of FPS that console players get. Obviously, you still wouldn't be able to get over 60, but some people believe that turning off shadows would give the game less graphical imaging to render, therefore leading to less FPS drops. However, even though that's just a theory and there's a chance it doesn't actually improve FPS, console players should still be able to turn off shadows because of the gameplay disadvantage they present. There's a reason why, when given the option, every single competitive PC player chooses to turn them off. It makes certain areas of the map much darker, and it'll be almost impossible to see enemies who are in those spots. Moving on, at the beginning of Chapter 2, Fortnite gave players an interesting new setting called Confirm Edit on Release. Much like Edit Mode Aim Assist, players are kinda 50-50-ish on if it's better than just editing normally, but definitely a cool addition to the game. So what a lot of people pointed out is that if Fortnite's gonna give us Confirm Edit on release, why not just go one small step further and also give us Reset Edit on release? Now, even though this would be an option for all Fortnite players, it would be especially helpful for controller players, and here's why. Mouse and keyboard players already have scroll wheel reset, which is just as fast, if not faster, than Reset Edit on release would be. So giving controller players reset on release would do a pretty good job of leveling the playing field when it comes to editing. The next aspect of controller Fortnite that could be improved is trap placing. A lot of people don't know this, but there's a pretty distinct difference between placing traps with keyboard and mouse versus placing them with controller. On keyboard and mouse, placing traps is a 2-click process. A fairly common bind that PC players will use for traps is T, so they'll press T to select the trap and then left click to place it. Very simple and very efficient. However, on controller, this is instead a 3-click process. You'll press whatever button pulls out your building menu, then you'll press whatever button selects the trap, and finally you'll press that button again to actually place it. And I'm sure some people are going to be thinking, okay, yeah, I guess that's a little unfair, but does 3 clicks versus 2 clicks really make that big of a difference? Well, my response to that would be, yeah, absolutely. Without a doubt, the most powerful way to use traps in Fortnite right now is to place them inside your 1x1 when an enemy jumps inside of it. So since that enemy is going to have a clear point-blank range chance to deal damage on you, if your play is to place a trap, time is obviously going to be of the essence. If it takes anything more than like half a second, you're going to be in big trouble. So obviously, 2 clicks versus 3 is going to save a decent amount of time, and it's also going to make you much less likely to mess up the actual placement. There are a bunch of potential ways to improve trap placement on controller, but I personally believe the simplest solution is allowing players to select traps without pulling out their building menu. This would basically work almost the same exact way as it does on mouse and keyboard. You'd make your trap button something you don't already use. Let's just use down on the D-pad as an example here. So pressing that button will pull out the trap even if your building menu isn't open, then you'll press another button to place it. Bam, 2 clicks, problem solved. And when you press the trap select button, you could then use right and left on the D-pad to scroll to launch pads, campfires, or whatever else could potentially be in that slot like normal. The final potential improvement to controller Fortnite is something that I saw online that I think is absolutely genius. So when you pick your aim assist and settings on controller, there's 3 main options that everybody knows about: legacy, linear, and exponential. And whichever one of those 3 options you pick controls the type of aim assist you get, the way you build, and the way you edit. This results in a lot of players making hard choices. For example, I personally would love my building and editing to be on linear, but I just like the aim assist of legacy too much to actually make the change. So I saw someone online suggest this: why not allow controller players to pick a different option for every type of action? So like I suggested, that would allow me to use legacy aim assist while aiming, and then linear for building and editing. My guess is that would be the most popular combo, but I'm sure there are some other people that would do something like linear aim assist with exponential building and editing. Now, I do have a feeling that there would be a lot of keyboard and mouse players opposed to controller players getting this option. They'd probably claim something like, oh, this would make controller too OP, but really, all it would do is give slightly more customization and control over how we play. And at the end of the day, being able to switch between linear, exponential, and legacy is basically something that mouse and keyboard players can already do by moving their mouse either faster or slower. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you watched the entire thing, be sure to let me know with a comment down the comment section below. What issue regarding controller or console Fortnite are you most hoping gets fixed in the near future? Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, do whatever the heck you want, and I will catch you guys next time.